if you're in fight and flight and fear and overwhelm and you're intervening, that is a totally different energy than if you're going, oh, okay, I am a superhero. I've got my cape on, and Joseph needs help with, whether it's handwriting, I mean, whatever we're working on, right?
Right.
But I'm going to do it with an energy of a superhero, not from fear. Because I'm confident that I know as a superhero, I know that I'm going to fly in. That's the difference when you create the balance is you're not, your cape doesn't have holes in it, and your hair is not frazzled. And hi, welcome back to Mother's Guide Through Autism podcast. I am Brigitte Shipman and I'm your host. And today I'm going to welcome back my friend Maureen Brice. She has been on Mother's Guide before, and she is back to share more of her great knowledge, hope, and inspiration today. And I'm very excited to have Maureen back. Maureen is an author, advocate, and certified health coach, intuitive empath, and parent of 3 amazing young adults. She has navigated and advocated in the world of special needs for over 2 decades when her youngest child was diagnosed with autism in 2001. Maureen wrote her first book and Audible book, My Autism Hat Rack, The Life Flip, in 2013 to help other parents navigate the autism journey with hope and healing and bring awareness to the world. Her coaching covers neurodiversity, autism, nutrition, spirituality, holistic health, frequency medicine, all used to help support her clients find clarity, wellness, and guidance in their lives. As an intuitive empath, Maureen has expanded her spiritual practice to include angel card readings for her clients. The expansion of adding spiritual guidance with her clients has transformed her own journey, and she continues to fulfill her purpose, supporting and guiding clients to their divine pathways. So glad to have Maureen back. I know you're going to enjoy this episode. Welcome back to Mother's Guide Through Autism. I am so excited to have Maureen Brice back to our show. Maureen and I connected in a few episodes back and talked all about the wonderful work that Maureen is doing in our community. And Maureen and I invited Maureen back, and she had gotten Joseph and I, our book, A Mother's Guide Through Autism Through the Eyes of the Guided, and said she would like to hijack this episode rather than talking about Maureen's work. She wants to talk about what Joseph and I have written. So I am going to, we're just doing something a little different. So hang in there. Maureen is going to take over now. And then Maureen, though, do want you at the end of this podcast to let our listeners know where they can find you and a little bit of what you're doing now, if that's all right with you.
Oh, no, I'd love that. I'll do a little update on me, but I am
Okay.
so glad you were willing to. Well, first of all, hi, Bridget. Hi, listeners. Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hello,
hi.
hello. I was so glad that you were very able, and welcoming for me to hijack this, because when we had our first episode, it was fantastic. I mean, plus that's when we realized, oh my gosh, same journey, but miles apart and different results for our children, but still the same struggles, but the same accomplishments, things like that. So when you were like, oh, we can talk about anything, I was like, okay, I think so, but I still need to read your book. so okay, I gotta get serious with the glasses now, because for your listeners, they can't really see, but I got your book, and if you are listening, you have to. The Mother's Guide Through Autism is Bridget's book, and Joseph's book, her son, and he did the other part. It's just a beautiful thing. It said Through the Eyes of the Guided, which I loved. But back about Bridgette's book, I have it so dog-eared with Post-it notes and where I need to do, because there were so many phenomenal points that a mother needs to understand on this journey with autism. And, I too wrote a book, but mine ended up being more a journey of our story and then little things that, tools that you could help. When I read your book, Bridget, I was like, dang, the girl did the tool book. It's the tool book. It's the kit. I mean, I didn't even get past the first chapter. I'm like, holy crap, this is exactly what everybody should get in their hands. Teachers should do it, parents, caregivers, grandparents, anybody who really, really wants to understand the neurodiversity of our generation that's here right now and probably coming along in the future, right?
Mhm.
Fingers crossed. But what you did for the mother is help her with these, each chapter, you gave tools to help the mother shift her mindset that she needs to be shifting now. And it doesn't matter if you got thrown into the curveball of autism, 2 weeks ago or 2 decades ago, like we did. You just have to get this book because I still learned so much. And when I was doing some of the tools that you had implemented and written in here, I was like, oh, you did that so well. It's like, I mean, the word guided on the title it's just understated because it literally, I mean, just follow the words of things that you did. So what I wanted to do, if Bridget, and you, of course you can talk.
Yeah.
I'm hijacking,
Oh,
but it is your
I
show.
I I'm just listening closely because I love the fact that I've done previous episodes about a mother's guide through autism, right? And so Joseph and I both, and it comes from our perspective. But what's so intriguing to me and why I was so excited to do this was because it's coming from your perspective, from a mother's perspective that has worked the book, right?
Yes.
And so the original intention was, as a coach, I can't reach as many moms as I would like to, and so I thought, well, if I put this work in writing, then anyone can pick it up. And I think it is meant to meet yourself where you're at any given moment, just exactly what you said. So some of those hard days, you're going to want to do different parts of the book. Once you've worked through the book, it's a book that can be picked up over and over and over again. And it's just a great reminder. I'm coaching a mom right now,
Yeah.
and her mantra, if you will, is joy finder.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, right. How do you find joy in any given moment?
Right.
And I just love how, I wrote this book for exactly who you said, Maureen, anybody that just found out, newly diagnosed, to somebody like me, because I did not do this work until I was in my 50s.
Yeah. 40s
Okay.
for me. 40. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just a little behind.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
actually,
So,
technically with your guy, no, it's my 50s.
yeah. Well, and so I thought, you know, I would love if I could have been
Mhm.
introduced to this when I was, at the beginning of my journey. I think I would have found more joy, you know. I would have. I would have enjoyed and been more present instead of taking, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but every second with Joseph was a teaching moment.
Right.
How can I help him? How can he experience this? Da, 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 which in you can ask Joseph yourself. I think that really helped him a lot, but it didn't help me. And and so I look back at some of those beautiful pictures of Joseph, and man, he was cute. And I wasn't present. I didn't see the beautiful human in front of me, it through those eyes, through the joy eyes, right?
Yeah. It's like the minute a label stuck on your child, it's like you see the label and your child disappears, and it's normal. And we need people to understand. You wrote a lot, you did it so well. I was like, it's so normal. And then the mothers start beating themselves up on what they did wrong and everything. And it's just a natural way of how we've been raised in society. But I love how your realization of it years later made you say exactly what you just said, is like you weren't present. And what a, not that things were supposed to be different, because it played out how it was supposed to, right?
Mhm.
But that reason it played out that way, that you took the time and knowledge and structured this, I'm still going to call it a toolkit. I am. It's just a toolkit in my head.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is a workbook. It is a coaching book to help people navigate themselves on this journey, right? And it's not meant, and it depends on who you are. I've coached so many moms that just go all the way through the book right away. And then
Okay.
they go through it again and again. And I have other moms who go, oh, I had to put it down because it was too hard. I just couldn't do it today. And I'm like, perfect. That's what it's for. It's your book, it's your toolkit. You go at your pace and go back through it however you're feeling in any given moment.
When it resonates for you to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. When you're
Yeah.
ready, when you're open to get the information. Well, I think I
Yeah.
was one of those moms when I opened it up, and I was at an event for Jonathan, and he was over there playing games and stuff. And I thought, oh, this is a perfect time. I'll start the book. And I opened the book, and I'm reading the foreword of your book, which is written by Joseph.
Yeah.
Okay, so I start tearing up, and people are like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Okay, I can't do this right now."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, now I know I need to be like, I need quiet time to really, absorb. So I was one of those moms, and I think I even texted you. I was like, "Okay, thanks a lot. Just only read the forward, and I've got to close it and put it down for about a day."
I
So
know.
you're
I
right. I had to wait for it to when I was ready to open it back up. But once then I turned into the mom who just plowed through it, because I was like, oh my God, yes. Oh yes. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. You worded it and made it so easy for people to understand. And what I love about the integration of the worksheets that are in it, that's probably not the right word, because they stay in the book, but you put in each chapter, you put like a reflection and a space for the mother to work through what you've just covered in the chapter,
Mhm.
which is perfect, and once you get all you moms out there, just, get the book. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I know we're like at the beginning of the interview, but you have to get it, because you'll understand how easy it is to read the chapter, and you'll relate to it. And even if you don't, you can come back to that chapter when something in your life does relate to it. Right. And that was
Mhm.
a beautiful thing you did, Bridget, is like you broke it apart so well that these different literal chapters, right, are going to be presented in these people's lives, and
Yes.
I want to go back to when you said that you were looking at his beautiful pictures, and how you were wanting to realize that you just went into, you know, superhero mode. That was one of the things you call the moms, right?
Yes.
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 And it was fix it mode and that kind of stuff. How
Mhm.
important do you feel it is for mothers to try and make that, like, put that aside, put the workabee, the superhero thing aside, on because I was reading this and I was thinking, what percentage, because I'm kind of a, not math, Lord knows I still use a calculator and I count on my fingers, but I do sit there and I do like a percentage of my day. So I was wondering, would you put a percentage, like what percentage would you put the day for the mom to sit there and just have the kid be a kid and the mom just enjoy it?
Mhm. Well, first of all, I want to say the key to it, right? How to live with more joy is to know when to put the cape down and when to put your cape on as a superhero. Okay. So
Okay.
you can picture that and think, okay, you know what? It's time for my cape. It's just kind of like, you watch any superheroes, Wonder Woman, and they know when to transform. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I think that's where
Okay.
we create the balance. And so when you do put your cape on, and it is a teaching moment, or it is like you can obviously see, okay, I can intervene here,
Uh-huh.
but it's the feeling of when you intervene, right? So what I mean by that is if you're in fight and flight and fear and overwhelm and you're intervening, that is a totally different energy than if you're going, oh, okay, I am a superhero. I've got my cape on and Joseph needs help with, whether it's handwriting, I mean, whatever we're working on, right?
Right.
But I'm going to do it with an energy of a superhero, not from fear. Because I'm confident that I know as a superhero, I know that I'm going to fly in. That's the difference when you create the balance is you're not your cape doesn't have holes in it and your hair's not frazzled and
And you've got bunny slippers in the carpool line.
and you don't have holes in your superhero shoes from wearing them out,
Get those red
right?
boots on, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, right. That's what it is yeah, even superheroes need to refuel. So that's the other side of it. But if you can really truly, and Joseph is the one, and I write about a little bit part of that in the book. When I asked him, I said, Joseph, this is when he was already early 20s, and I said, what do you think my life lesson is? Because Joseph's super one-liner philosophy guy. The Joseph is profound, and when he says something, it makes my hair blow around. And
What, you
he
might write
said-
a book when he says stuff? Is that what you're
when
going to say?
he says stuff, yeah, when he says stuff,
You write a book about it.
I write a book about it because it's just unbelievable. But anyway, he said he in an instant, it didn't take him 1 second of thinking. He looked at me and he said, to let go.
Wow.
That's my life lesson. That's
Wow.
what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. That's what the difference is in knowing when you're putting on your cape and when it's time to just rest, refuel, and put it down until it's time to put it back on, and how you approach it, because it's very difficult to not refuel, not rest, not know when to put the cape down and
Right.
show up with joy while you're helping and your child work through something.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to find joy in fight or flight mode.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And trust me, that was me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was always like a ball of okay, 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 rather than, hey, why don't we try play while we do this there, I mean,
Right.
I did have moments like that, but the majority of them, I always had a smile on my face, but I was not smiling inside.
Oh, I so relate to that.
Yeah,
Ah, okay. So that's what I want moms to hear is this. It's it's such an empathetic journey,
yeah,
right? But that you've done a structuring toolkit to where that you can find that smile inside.
yeah, yeah.
I love it.
There is a reason to smile.
Yeah.
Because you're on a different journey than you thought you were going to be on, right? So we're finding our new normal and that things do look different, but
Yeah.
they can be just as joyful. They can.
Okay, so a lot of people may not believe that where they are,
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
right?
Wouldn't have. If I would have heard somebody tell me that, I would have went, I was, attitude,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, right. You don't know, but I do in fact know.
Yes, you do.
And so that's why I dare say that, because I think the reaction would, and of course, most moms are grieving, they may or may not be aware of it. So if you're stuck in that anger stage, right, that you
Right.
get triggered and you instantly go to anger, which I can also relate to, by the way, then those if you're in that angry stage, yeah, that comment is going to trigger you, and man, no, you probably won't accept it. And I understand that, because I wouldn't have either. What I'm trying to say is, if you in fact want to find a way, not everybody's ready.
Right.
That's why this book is precious to me, is because I wrote it for that reason, for for anyone, because I don't know what I have an understanding of what your day's like, but certainly I can't know 100% what you're going through. There are other things in our life on top of autism.
Right. Right.
There's you might have other children that are have other struggles, or your job, or your relationship. A lot of spouses go through difficult times when they get a diagnosis like that, because we all deal different,
Right.
right? So what I would encourage anyone who's listening is, say, trust that this book was written only to pay it forward with love and healing. I wrote it in 3 months.
Wow.
It was inside of me. And my publisher that I worked with, I go, I want this out. And okay, well, we started in October. I was completed by January.
Oh my gosh. So you did it through the holidays too,
Uh-huh.
which is a very family oriented,
Mhm.
busy time.
Right. And also, Joseph is the writer in our family, not me. I am a teacher, and he is also, by the way, a great teacher. You can tell by the way Joseph writes that, he's a natural born
Yeah.
teacher. And I mean, teacher not in, like everyone thinks about, oh, teacher, like you have a curriculum and you present it. I'm talking about creating ahas for people, and when you're done teaching what you're teaching, they walk away
Yeah.
feeling something.
Yeah. Like it's almost like a scholar aspect of, I'm just going to say, like it like a prophecy type stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is that powerful. He has a section in this book, so you get two for one people. Hello. and I'm just gonna I really want to focus on Bridget's part of all this, but it's if you even want to know how your child with autism thinks and perceives the world, get this book to read Joseph's section on it. It's beautiful. And he is a brilliant writer.
He is.
Yes. And I loved how he wrote what he wrote.
Mhm.
That was awesome too. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a extreme bonus to this, because you get the toolkit from Bridget, and then you have perspective from Joseph, which this is just, I don't understand why this isn't in every parent's hand right now. I really don't. That's what I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, we have to get this out there. Okay.
I really believe that it's one of those feeling, or the feeling that I have is, it's written with the intention of helping anyone who picks it up. And
Mhm.
I believe those types, and I've even read books that have been out for 30 or more years, even, some great books before I was born. And it's getting like, that's a long time ago now. But I'm
Hey, you
just
young chicken, what are you talking about? You're a spring chicken.
I'm a
Okay.
spring chicken. But it's just one of those books that when it's time, you'll know, you'll find it, it'll find you. And I think it's going to be one of those more word of mouth things because I did the hybrid publishing because I struggled. Do I try to get a traditional publishing
Right.
company to do it, or do I try to do this on my own? And I decided to go hybrid and work with another writing coach who started a publishing company, Brave Writing. I mean, it's in the book, and they are wonderful. And I want to make sure that Writing Brave Press gets a lot of credit here. So I did hybrid because I wanted to make sure that I had the not really control, but I had the say so
Hmm.
because I want to make sure it's not misrepresented.
Right.
I want to make sure that it came out when it needed to come out. And so that's why I chose it. So with that said, that's probably a lot of the reason why it's not really out there yet, because I believe that I made that decision, and self-publishing is very difficult. It's very difficult to get a self-published book really out there because it takes a lot of finances.
It does. You're right. And I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I self-published mine is along the same terms, except mine was more editing. They wanted to chop so much out that was so important. So I love that you went this way, and I love Brave Press for letting you keep what you felt was important to share, because it is. I mean, like these are such key things for people to do. Okay,
Mhm.
so I want to like delve into some of the chapters. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's do
Okay.
it. I'm
Well,
excited.
reading the book, and you know, for those of you who haven't heard, I don't know why you haven't heard a previous episode of Bridget's podcast, but she's, an educator. She lives in a small town, so she really had to like create huge successful programs and everything because there wasn't much in your town, right? And even
Oh,
Joseph, yeah. So it's like you really had to start from scratch. I will say, coming from a big town, the benefit to that is you have more control over it, and you have more regular peer oriented people helping, which there's a give and take. But wherever you are, you just, if you use the book, you'll go ahead and succeed in wherever you are. That's how that was one of the big takeaways, because I thought, okay, you're from a small town and you still made it work. You have your sons are healthy and independent, and you are healthy and independent and still coaching people. So
yes.
I was like, oh, that was so cool to show that difference, because a lot of people go, oh, fine, she had a lot of support in a small town. It's like, no, you really didn't. You created
Exactly. No,
it.
there was actually zero support.
Yeah.
And so and I'm still doing it. This is what I'm still doing. No different from when Joseph was first diagnosed. Whenever I found something to help him, I shared it.
I
Who
love
can
that.
I share this with? Who can I share this with? Because I feel like if you're going to put all this energy into finding answers, it kind of gets wasted if you don't share it, you know?
Oh, I totally agree. And I think that's growth,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
that's what this
and
book is.
yeah, the growth of joy too. Like you're going to
Yeah.
go out there and try and find this, like your client said, what was it? She's a joy finder is her mantra, but oh, the ripple effect is huge. I mean, our kids need it.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, if you're not in a place as a mom to take on a to-do list and a guidebook and a toolkit, then put yourself aside and just say, you know what, my kid needs it.
Yes.
And it'll come to you. You're the one who's driving the boat, but truly it's a ripple effect. So yes, thank you.
Yeah, and I've also been told from, people who just picked it up, and then they ended up buying it for somebody that they knew, which we all pretty much know somebody who knows somebody that is on the spectrum now, right?
Ah,
Um,
isn't that
but
terribly crazy?
I don't see that going anywhere, but you can apply these tools to anything in your life. I think
Absolutely.
I applied it to autism, but really and truly, this is a book that you can use if you're just in a bad spot, if whatever it is, these tools are, you can use them. That's what I love about it, right? So let's say you get your groove back, you feel like your new normal is going well, and then oh my gosh, now either someone passed away, you lost your job, or I call them life tsunamis. Let's say and autism was
Not
one
like not like the word
one of
hiccup,
them.
tsunami. You just go in and just
Tsunami.
bring it
Oh
on.
yeah,
Tsunami.
you're humming along and you get hit by a life tsunami. And this life tsunami, they come out of nowhere. And
Right.
you're instantly get hit and you're right back to square one, right? It's like you're right back into grief, you're right back into that shock of not knowing which direction. You survived it, but you don't know how to pick up the pieces, the wreckage, right, of the tsunami. And that's what this book is too. It's really for any life tsunami, these tools.
I love that because it's so true. Because the minute a tsunami hits you, you actually get affected emotionally,
Yeah.
and a trauma mode comes in and you freeze. And then the physical aspect, I mean, you can go through the whole line of it, but you're right, because you can go back and you can, once you take your breath or go to your shower pod when nobody can bother you. But you're right, you can go right back and pick up a chapter. And that's what I mean, the other thing is, and I know I've said it before, but I really want to reiterate that this is for the moms. I mean, there are no books out there that I've come across that work so well to zero in on the moms, and the dads can get this too. I mean, like you're saying, yes, it's not like it's isolated for the moms, but coming from the mom perspective. Actually, you know what would be great is the spouses, the partners
Mhm.
do read this book, because then they'll get a perspective of what's going on
Mhm.
how they can support their partner.
Right. I love that. I love that, Maureen. And I also think, I've had dads comment or whatever and say, hey, what about the dad? And I would love to help any dad. So I love that thought that you just shared but my answer to them is, of course I'm going to help you. Of course.
Yes.
Just call me up. I'll work with you just like I would any mom, but
Yeah.
I'm a mom.
Yeah.
And so I can't speak from a dad perspective. I can only speak from mine and my mother's heart. And that's all I know. But I certainly believe that anyone can pick this book up and benefit.
Oh yeah. I mean, I actually see that it would benefit the dads
Yeah.
completely. There's a chapter called Gratitude and Reflection.
Mhm.
And I named it the recap on all my little pink tabs. Because it's brilliant. It's kind of like you go through the book and you can address each chapter if it resonates, like we've been talking about, right?
Mhm.
But on this page, it goes through what the chapters highlight, the title, and then you give just a beautiful little synopsis of BAM. And a lot of them, oh my gosh, see, it's like chapter 1, daily reflection. Use your heart to guide you. Can I read this really quick?
Oh, certainly.
Okay. You are a mother guide and you are specifically made for your child. Feel the love that you have for your child. Love is the healing force that will comfort you when you are on your knees. Use the Mother Guide's prayer or your own prayer or meditation, and know that the universe, angels, and God all hear a mother's prayer louder and clearer than any other prayer. Have faith and see the deep beauty in your child. Have faith in, oh, I love that. See the deep beauty in your child. Motherhood is unique and beautiful. And what I loved about that, and I'm going to go back to my chapter, is you did your mother's prayer that you do, and then but you sit there and you go ahead, and it's not like you say, all right, this is the magic words, you need to go ahead and just do my exact prayer, and poof, it's all fixed. You don't even go there. It's just like, this is something to hug your heart
Yeah.
and do your own, adapt what you need on your words. But I loved that. And that was in the introduction. I was like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah, when I still read that, when I do book signings or speaking engagements and I read that, I still try I get verklempt. I try so hard not to cry because it is just it was written with such deep love that I still like I can feel that. But yeah, it's just a way to send love to somebody,
Yes. Well, and to yourself.
to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's really, I was sitting there going, oh, it's like the, we need to give permission
Okay.
to feel, but, and fail but look into the future. And I mean, it's just in favor. I mean, I'm thinking all these F words is like, we just need all this stuff, but for fun. And that prayer to me just sets the tone of, okay, not everything is perfect, but your child actually is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Great insight.
Yeah. Well, it was your prayer. I mean, I just loved it. It's how I felt.
Yeah. And that's what I love about what we're doing today is I get to hear about I get the feedback, right? I
Yes.
love that.
Well, you get my feedback. So
Wow.
everybody can comment,
Yeah. Yeah.
get the book and then come back
Yeah.
to this episode, and
Yep.
it's on YouTube, right? So you can
It is.
comment
It
and
is.
there's a Facebook group too, right?
Well, it's there. Yeah, we have a private Facebook group.
Okay.
So you know, because I want to make sure that that private Facebook group, number one, is private, but also that it's all about knowledge, hope, and inspiration because it's not, I don't know if anyone probably not listening remembers Dennis Miller going into his rant on his show and everything got dark and he would just let it rip. I don't want it to be about that. I want it to be, yeah, I get that there's so much to rant about,
Uh-huh.
obviously,
Right. Yes.
but
I'll
that's
say
the
it as
place
a
for it.
hijacking host. There's so much shit out there that we have to
Yeah,
deal with. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And so I want it to be a place where you come to get like a warm, cozy blanket around you and a hot cup of tea or a glass of wine, whatever your jam is, and just really to have a safe space to come to
Yep.
and to feel better as we're on this joy finder journey, right? You can find negative anywhere you go. That's not what it's about. It's about saying, okay, I'm gonna go get my slippers on and my jammies on, and I'm gonna relax and I'm gonna ask other moms for support.
Right.
That's what it's about. How can I get comfort and how can I feel safe and what do I do? Help me. What do I do?
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
You get the toolkit, you get the book. What do you mean help you? You get the book and you already learn how to do it, which would be cool in the Facebook group is maybe on a set day or something, everybody buys the book. And
Mhm.
then, when you're like, oh, I read chapter 1 through 3, what were some of your favorite parts? Because then that way everybody shares it.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So the thing you know, I think that I did a book group, with this
Okay.
book. And they do okay, but I think a lot of moms struggle with the vulnerability where it's almost like if you're in an online Facebook group, like so that might be a better way to do it. So moms out there listening, whoever gets this book, if you would like to do something like that, what Maureen suggested, I will be all about it. Like let's talk about it. Let,
Yeah, let's do it.
let me coach you and walk you through these chapters because of course you're gonna, have questions.
But what a bonus, people. I mean,
Yeah.
you get your own workbook and then you get to go back to Bridget and go, okay, but I'm going to now
Yeah.
personalize my thing and I want feedback. Well,
Yeah.
that's huge and generous, but that you would, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if people have reservations being on Facebook to do that, maybe there's an option. I don't know. Let's put it out there, Bridget, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I would love for people to respond and get the book. And at the end of it, of course, You can tell them where to get it, or say,
Yeah.
where do you get it now?
Amazon.
Okay. Okay. That's where I got it. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
and delivered the next day. And then I opened the chapter of the foreword. It cried and I put it back down for 2 more days. And then I opened it again.
Uh,
So,
love, love, love.
okay. So chapter 2, daily reflection, your deepest fears are simply not true. The thing I love about, again, throughout the whole book is you make it relatable.
Mhm.
And the, we're in a community we didn't sign up for.
Right.
And there are no rules, and there are no specific answers for a specific person because everybody's unique, right?
Mhm.
But I do want to say that honestly, 99% of everything you wrote for the guides on this does relate for the moms.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sure, there's that 1% who, whatever, but I'm telling you everything. I mean, I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, yes. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, yeah, that crap happened. And, I sat there and I bitched about it for 5 days, felt worse, made it all worse and stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, hold on. You just went ahead and said, okay, everybody has these fears and you related to it. And then you turned around and you give tools. I'm going to say it again, toolkit people. You give tools and of how to face that fear, and you make it, you're just so vulnerable, but so you would have been, well, I probably would have been super smart if you were my teacher. But
What, what? That's a
now you're my
very big
teacher in the
compliment.
right time I need you is by, reading and using the book. But when it went into the fear, and I'm going to kind of jump into this. I loved how you also addressed the pain.
Mhm.
Okay. And one of the things I realized, and you put it, you peppered into it and everything like that, is like, but it wasn't until after I read Joseph's part of the book, as I thought, and I know this, we all know this as veterans now,
Yes.
is the fear and the pain that you recognize and you address, your child's feeling that all at the same
Yeah.
time too.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you address that. And it's like, that is such a stop sign moment that a mom really needs to focus on.
Mhm.
Don't you think?
I think that. I mean, I have
Well, yeah,
changed,
you wrote about it. Sorry, but yeah,
right? I, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Joseph, well, my sons and I, our family dynamic is really great. I can't say that it's always been like that. There were other life tsunamis that hit all of us. And, me doing this work, when I went through the life coach training program and started healing myself, I was like, oh, wow, I want everyone that I know to know about this. And I could instantly, the things I've learned is not everybody's ready.
Yes.
So that's why it's in written word too, because you're going to be ready when you're ready, and there are going to be days where you're not. So I really feel like if you can walk yourself through the pain, if you can take the time to grieve and let go
Yes.
of the life that you thought you were going to live,
Right.
and then embrace the one that you do have, embrace what you do have.
Yes. Oh my God,
And
I love that.
there's a quote in there, right? And I hope I'm not hijacking back, but
No,
um, I
hijack back your own thing. No, because I've got so many. Where's the quote?
it is, yeah, in chapter 10, always a mother guide.
Okay.
So there are things that happen on this journey. Joseph is 31 now, and letting go, as Joseph so eloquently let me know,
Yes.
is part of what I think all moms experience when our children get to be of a certain age. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay, my role as a mother is different now. And always a mother guide is about letting go. It's about, how do I now that I've put all this love and nurturing and energy into my child, let him start, making his own decisions. And I know they're not always the best ones. Like I would like to say, I wish I could go back when you were 3 and just, change your direction of where you were about to hit a wall or what. No, let's go this way. That's not how it is. And the quote, and Joseph, my Joseph,
Yes.
is the one who introduced me to Joseph Campbell. And the quote is, "We must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us." You have a life, it's waiting for you. And if we can let go and find our new normal and really embrace what is, I know those of you that are angry, just hang on. Just hang on. Trust and believe that you too, you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine.
Because you're going to get the book.
Well, yes.
I'm serious. I still have to keep saying you got to get the book to be fine. Well, you don't have to. You're right. I love that. And that's true. You're so right on all that. It's just getting that you took the time to do all this and how well it's done.
Mhm.
I could have done this when I was in my 30s.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
Right. So it's kind of like, okay, this book puts you in a place where you can embrace
Mhm.
that new life that you didn't expect. Like you're saying, with more open arms.
Yeah.
I mean, in love, and the love you have for your family is apparent. But
Yeah.
what I do love is the strength you show in yourself is also apparent. And it's like I want people to understand that you can love yourself. I mean, you can. I mean, if you have to be your first cheerleader, right? And I
Yes.
think being your first cheerleader, getting something like this book as a toolkit can just, you get through so much. You don't have to do years and years of trying to figure it out on your own.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant young
Self-love.
lady.
Don't
Brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you. That self-compassion chapter is one of my favorites because
Yes.
I think it is the hardest one for moms to embrace because, and listen, I've coached so many moms and the commonality in it is the fear of what happens when I'm no longer here, what happens to my child. That is consistent. And the self-judgment based on how other people judge us. Just simply going, like I talk about, to the grocery store, Joseph having a meltdown. I can be, in other people's eyes, either the best mom or the worst mom within 30 seconds. So I'm like, okay, well, which am I? Am I like, I'm responsible for how I feel, and I know what the truth is. That's why I say follow your mother's heart, because in any given moment, I'm doing absolutely everything and anything I can to help my child. And then you see these glares, right, of
Oh
judgment.
yeah.
And then it's
I
like,
had a
oh,
Moses moment. Yep. Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm a terrible mother because my child's having without them knowing anything. Or Joseph could be having a great moment. Oh, what a great mom you are. He's so lucky to have you. All within minutes, seconds apart. I'm like, whoa, okay, either I am or I not. So I'm going to go with, you know what? I do love myself, and not in, our generation. It was like, oh, that sounds like, oh, you're
Selfish.
so full
Yeah.
of
It was like,
yourself.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
selfish or whatever. It's like, well, you got to be, if you're not, who's going to
Yeah.
take care of everybody?
Yeah, because when you do, that's what builds the resilience. And that's why when you're getting the glares and your crazy monkeys of fear take your brain hostage,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
you're living in that self-judgment, where you go, now wait a second. Nope. I have awareness now. And you know what? that this does not make or break me. This does not define who I am.
I love that. And it doesn't define who your child is.
No.
It's a moment, right?
Yeah.
So when you
He's
say follow your mama's heart or
Mhm.
mother's heart, you say
Yeah.
your follow your mother's heart. I instantly go, a heart is love.
Yes.
So why not? I
Yeah.
love it. It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so great. I know the crazy monkey. I mean, it's like, I know it can't be a 5-hour podcast, but
No. But can I end it in a way that just makes me so happy, that kind of brings it all together? Um,
please, yes, because I am a novice at this.
Well, by the way, you might want to think about having your own podcast, friend, because I think this was so fun and this was such a great conversation. And so I'm looking for the Marianne Williamson quote about love, right? Because she talks about in A Return to Love, one of her books, Marianne Williamson, if you're not familiar with her, boy, I highly recommend. Here it is. I found it. It's on page 116.
Okay.
And she basically says there are two basic fears, love, or I mean, two basic human emotions. There's love and there's fear. And when you do choose love, which is the mother's heart, exactly what you just said, Maureen, this quote by Marianne Williamson sums up what this whole book and everything we're talking about, really. So the
Okay.
quote is, love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others is the meaning of life. Meaning does not lie in things, meaning lies in us. Marianne Williamson.
Brought to you by Brigitte Shipman.
I'm a big quote person, probably because
I
I'm a
I
teacher.
love quotes.
I do.
That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quote. And I did read it but now I love it I'd love you sharing it. And you're right. It's a beautiful book. Number one, thank you for letting me hijack your podcast. And yes, I think what we should do is do something off the cuff and call it conversations.
I do too.
And if
But
it starts at 6:30 where I can have some cheese and wine.
there you go. A,
Yeah.
a great way to, like I said, get on your slippers, your pajamas, get on a nice cozy blanket, wrap it around you, and let's just talk about what this journey is. And what I want to say to you, Maureen, is first of all, it just really, really means a lot to me to get the feedback, to know that this book was so worthy of your time and that it did help you, so much so that you even wanted to hijack this episode, because we could be talking about you,
No, no,
but
no.
we are.
Yeah, we already had one on me. We're good. It's all
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
But I loved it. I knew it by chapter 3. I was like, I just visioned every parent having this in their hand.
yeah. And
And
that's the goal for me.
yeah, well, we need it. I want
Uh-huh.
that goal to come to fruition because it's just going to benefit teachers, mothers, and after we talk, dads,
Yeah, yeah. I did
grandparents.
send this book to Jenna Bushy. I haven't heard anything yet, but hey, you never know. You never
Well,
know.
you
So
were in Times Square with that other book with
I
it up there.
was,
So, I
yeah,
mean, it's like,
literally.
girl, you got that jive going. We need that vibe to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
risen up.
Yeah, just to have the exposure, just to help as many moms as we can help, and to help as many people as we can help build a toolbox for their life tsunamis. That's what this is about. Before we go, I just want to know, is there anything you do want to mention to our listeners about some of the new stuff you're doing with the spirituality? I know
Oh,
you're such a
yeah.
healer. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah. So this past year was great. Lots of reflection at the end of it. And one of the biggest, you and I kind of talked about this, you're a big reason because there are a lot of, I felt like coaching people and health coaching and life coaching and everything like that was weighing me down a little on my end because I was implementing a lot of spiritual coaching and angel card reading and guidance. And I found that all the last half of last year, it just filled my heart. It just made me, I mean, I just knew it. I just knew that was my purpose. And I had a hard time letting go of, let's just say, the autism world, right? But, I read your book and it was kind of like, I can let it go because like you said, let it go.
Yeah, let it
Well,
go.
because, you and other parents out there who you interview on your podcast, right? It's out there for parents. It doesn't need to be redundant from a different point of view. In my opinion, I found that I took a lot of my gifts that I've really loved and had fun with, and my clients are loving it too. And yeah, so I'm just shifting it all to spiritual coaching and the intuitive empath that I like to really focus on. And it's growing and it's getting big. And then, of course, I'm leaving my boundaries. So I'm not letting it get too out of control. But
Yes.
yeah, so if you go to Hope Dream Believe, and there's an angel card reading tab, which I'm in the process of changing the whole website where it's just bam, it's just going to be bam, spiritual guidance and all this stuff. But it's been beautiful. And again, I really feel when we met, our pathways, the reason we click so much is you have been able to fill a piece of my heart. I don't want to tear up, but I'm tearing up. And that's kind of wild. But it's like,
Oh,
I just feel it's okay to let it go because you wrote this book. Oh my God. And remember, I wrote one too, that my purpose was to do a guidebook. But the way you did this one, A Mother's Guide Through Autism, it's brilliant. It's perfect. It's what people need. It's a step by step. It's like you help them shift their mindset with your words, your experience, and your relatability. And girl, you let me say, oh, I'm going to let this stuff go. Give it, Bridget, come on, you go do that stuff. I'm going to go do this stuff. and
well,
we'll and we'll
that
have wine together and cheese and
yes,
have
we
fun.
will. Yes, we will. I could really feel that, and of course, then I started tearing up
I
because
know. It's just,
I
when
just
you,
it that's what I mean by a mother's heart. Like it doesn't take a lot to feel what we feel and to connect and to really encourage and support. And I don't even have words that are eloquent enough to define it, but all I know is that's what love feels like. So
well, I love you.
I love you. And to anyone that listened to this, if you have any questions, please reach out. If you enjoyed Maureen and my conversation today, we would both love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, Mother's Guide Through Autism, and help us help as many moms that we can to offer them knowledge, hope, and inspiration. And I will see you in the next episode.